The New York Football Giants just had a phenomenal first night in the NFL draft, crushing the first round with their two selections at 5th overall and 10th overall from the Cincinnati Bengals via the Dexter Lawrence trade. And I don't think a lot of people fully grasp just how impactful the two players the New York Giants selected could be in the now and in the future. I am your host, Christian Cruz, part of the Giant Topic. Welcome back to another episode. We are going to break down the New York Giants drafting Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State, and offensive tackle Francis Mauigoa out of Miami. These are two phenomenal players at their respective positions. And I have a write-up on both of these players I want to go over. But before we get into this video, I just want to say, hit that like, comment, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. We greatly appreciate your constant support. So let's get into this video. Now, Arvell Reese, right? Arvell Reese is someone that not even myself saw the New York Giants having a chance to select with the 5th overall selection. Many people had Arvell Reese going between 2 and at worst 4 to the Tennessee Titans. And lo and behold, he's there for the taking at 5. And as someone who wanted Sonny Styles, as someone who wanted Caleb Downs, I'm not upset with the Arvell Reese selection whatsoever. And how can you be upset with the selection of Arvell Reese, right? I see a lot of Giants fans, specifically on Twitter. Now, granted, I understand that that doesn't represent the entire fan base, but going off of what I've seen, you have obviously the good portion of the fan base that is in support of this draft pick, but there was a pretty big chunk of the fan base that was not in favor of this draft pick. And I'm kind of scratching my head as to why. I mean, again, I'm just going off of my write-up here, which I actually posted this on our X account. So follow us on X at the Giant Topic, So if we're talking about scheme flexibility, that is Arvell Reese. You can line him up at Mike, Sam, Will, or even let him rush off of the edge, and he's going to execute that position. Now, that is kind of a flaw with Arvell Reese, right? Not having a definitive position, but most people felt that he would translate well to the linebacker position. And then you could also have him, kind of lining up on the line, maybe busting through the A-gap. I think he'd be a mismatch nightmare with your typical offensive guard. But, I think that kind of versatility, it gives a lot of defenses freedom to look and create confusion between the defense. And I think, honestly, that's something that the New York Giants are really looking for. That's something that Denard Wilson, if you go back and you look at him in Tennessee, if you go back and you look at him with his tenure with Baltimore, that's something that he really prides himself with, his versatility, great football players, guys that can cause chaos. That is Arvell Reese. He is a proven pass rusher as well, right? Now, a lot of people, I think that's what, people kind of got upset about, was that they saw this draft selection and their first thing was that, okay, this guy's an edge rusher. When he simply isn't. He is a linebacker that can also get to the quarterback. He is a proven pass rusher. He had put up 69 tackles, 10 tackles for a loss, 6.5 sacks in 2025, while rotating between the line and linebacker as well, right? Now, that kind of production that he had earned him Big Ten Linebacker of the Year and All-American recognition, right? Now, when you look at Arvell Reese, there are some things that he does need to work on. I do think that he is solid in coverage. It could be a little bit better, but he does have that athletic profile to match up with backs. He can line up with tight ends, knocking them on the ground, as we've seen on film, knocking over big offensive linemen. This dude is a stud. Now, I think that he does have elite instincts and he does have elite traits, but with John Harbaugh and Joe Shea clarifying that we are going to play him at the will, I think that that is crucial. I think that that is so crucial for his development. And if we could see him play in that role, right, that Micah McFadden role, right, that Bobby Okereke role, or excuse me, that Tate Crowder role with Blake Martinez, or even if we go back to Bobby Okereke's best year, right, with the New York Giants. I mean, there's a lot of examples that you could give up, but if you can have guys like Arvell Reese just playing fast, getting to the quarterback, dropping back in coverage, not thinking. I mean, I think that's really going to help him in his first year. Now, I think that we will see a variety of different packages of him lining up at the line and maybe Abdul at the will, because we do know that Abdul Carter can play a little bit of linebacker as well, as he did that in college, right? He's a converted linebacker. But I think of the schematic advantage that Arvell Reese brings to the New York Giants. And a lot of people mention the NASCAR package, right? Classic New York Giants package that we had back in the day. And man, it worked. It worked really well. And when you have guys like Arvell Reese, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, these are disruptors. These are weapons. These are guys that can cause havoc on opposing offenses. These are guys that are going to have opposing offensive coordinators up late at night trying to game plan. Who are we going to give one-on-one opportunities to on the defensive line? Because we can't double up everybody. So you get very excited with it. You know, I think he does have a high-end ceiling, but I think he does need to find a definitive position. Now, 10th overall, the New York Giants selected Francis Mauigoa. Again, offensive tackle out of Miami. The top tackle in the entire draft class. Born in American Samoa, best O-lineman. Now, one thing that I love about Francis Mauigoa is that he plays with anger. He plays with tenacity. He is tough. He is dominant at the line of attack. His hands, I love his hands. I think he has excellent footwork. This is someone that they're probably most likely going to put him at right guard. Maybe in a couple of years, if Jermaine Illuminor moves on in free agency, you could kick him to right tackle. But at right guard, pairing him between John Michael Schmitz and Jermaine Illuminor, I mean, this kid could be a very good right guard, something the New York Giants have not had in quite some time. And I'm not talking Greg Van Roten level. I'm not talking Kevin Zeiton level. I'm talking surpassing that, right? Because that's kind of been the standard, right? The Giants have had these, journeyman right guards who, they might play okay, they might play average, they're not going to be a complete disaster unless you're Evan Neal, but getting a bona fide offensive tackle who most likely is going to translate into guard, dominant in the run game, an elite pass protector, someone that's going to be able to protect Jackson Dart and make sure that he stands upright. This is a phenomenal pick. I don't understand how fans could be upset about it. Now, look, I understand. As someone who wanted Caleb Downs so badly and seeing him go to the Dallas Cowboys, a lot of you guys know I live here in Dallas, Texas. I'm going to hate seeing him and his posters and everything plastered all over the place. If you live out here in Texas, you know that they go crazy with the Cowboys merchandise and posters and whatnot out here. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to playing him twice a year for the next decade plus. He was you can make an argument, best defensive player, regardless of position, in the entire draft class. The Giants passed on him twice. It's a shame. But you select Francis Mauigoa, you solidify the offensive line. You can't be upset with it. You really can't be upset with it. And I think a lot of Giants fans, it's just going to take them time to really come around to both of these picks. But this was a phenomenal first night for the New York Giants, and I'm absolutely thrilled to see them in camp. I'm thrilled to see them this upcoming season. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I really want to know where your guys' heads are. Let us know how you guys feel about these two draft picks. I understand, again, there's some people that are automatically going to think that Arvell Reese is just an edge rusher. He's not. He is a linebacker that can also get on the edge and get to the quarterback, but don't get it twisted. He is a linebacker. He was the best linebacker in this entire draft class, even over Sonny Styles, who I wanted at number 5. But phenomenal draft. Absolutely love what they did. Day 2 is today. So by the time you guys are seeing this, it's going to be day 2. Day 2 is today. I'm excited for it. I'm looking at guys like Jamad McCoy out of Tennessee, cornerback. Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. You have guys like Denzel Boston, who's falling as well. Caden McDonald, Christian Miller, defensive tackles that the Giants need. It's going to be a fun day. Would not be shocked if the New York Giants also maybe they get, a little lucky and get a third-round pick for Kayvon. I understand Adam Schefter reported that the Giants are not going to move off of him, but there's going to be teams that were, really hoping on certain guys to fall that didn't fall, that are going to be desperate and wanting to give up a third, a fourth, maybe, I doubt it, don't hold me to it, but maybe a late second. I don't see that. I see a third or a fourth. But either way, very, very excited for the New York Giants. Very excited with these 2 draft picks. Can't wait to see what they do going forward. Let us know your thoughts below. Hit that subscribe button. Leave a like. Join the topic. Follow us on all social media platforms. We'll see you guys on the next video.